A lot, sir.
Con, for water. Bobbity. Bear with me 1 second, Israel. Camera's a little crooked. A little bit. All right, let's straighten that out. Give me 1 second. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Shalom, my bad, little curse. Hey, Bob, can you do me one? Yeah, adjust the camera and pass me that phone, Baba Pashar. The phone that's on the my other phone, Baba Pashar. Bear with me 1 second, Israel. You're rocking and rolling in 1 second. Okay. No, I think it's too wide where it is. I did think it was a little crooked. Hold on. All right. But yeah, Bob, we get a Bible in the pocket for up here too. Salaki, Israel. Salaki. Put the attendance sheet in the comment section. We'll be able to rock and roll. Hold all your questions, you know what I mean? Well, put your questions in the chat. If you got any questions for Jerome Hyman, put them in the chat. So when he get here, we can rock and roll with him. Mm-hmm. All right. All right. Put this right here. What I bought, I appreciate it. Get 2 double A batteries on the Jura too, Bubba for sure. Yeah, we're gonna need it. All right, Shalom, Israel. Yahweh Bashim Yahshua B'Gatham, Yahweh Shema Thum Bashim Yahushua. I am priest and officer of 5,000. Yediah holding it down. The 12 shield General Muhammad gets here. Understand something. Blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians, understand that now it is time more than ever to come out of the world. Now is the time to come back into this truth, to come back to your identity, to come back to knowing that we are the priests, you know what I mean, and prophets of the Lord. If you are a Black, Latino, and First Nation man, we are the princes of the power. If you're a sister, you're a princess of the power. And we got to understand, man, it's time to separate from America. I read a story earlier today with some yacht about the football player Michael Orr. Michael Orr, you know what I mean, was they made a movie about him called The Blind Side. You know what I mean? And this brother, you know what I mean, was supposedly adopted by this Edomite family that rescued him from poverty, like the movie was saying, based off of his life. And turns out, right, that this brother is now suing this Edomite family because they didn't really adopt him. He signed what's that term? I think it's a conservationship, some other document that wasn't adoption, to where these Edomites now profited off of the movie and most of his NFL earnings and assets, man, while the brother wasn't making anything. Goes to show you that the white man is the devil, right, that the Bible speaks of, man. And why we got to separate and why we got to understand they're not our friends. The problem is we trust them. Like Michael Orr trusted that Edomite family. You know what I mean? It turns out he ain't make no money from that film, and they've been profiting off of him through all of his adult life, all of his football career, while the brother wasn't really making anything. Go to show you that the oppressor is the devil, man, and why he ain't to be trusted. And the Lord told us not to trust him. As a matter of fact, let me get that precept, Muthumbiah. Let me get Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10.
Oh, God. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12 and verse 10.
Mm-hmm.
Never trust thine enemy.
Never trust thy enemy. What does it mean when the Lord says never trust thy enemy? Meaning we ain't supposed to trust our enemies. And our enemies are these other nations. That's who our enemies are. Like Bill, Bob, Fred, you know what I mean? They are not our friends. They are our enemies. And you may look at Bill and think he's a swell guy. You may look at Walt, may look at Jimmy, may look at Sue. You may look at Susan and Gretchen and Olga, think, oh, they're swell people, Muthumbiah. No, they're not. The oppressor has always been a wicked bastard. And our God said, never trust thy enemy, because they are our enemies. These heathen nations don't give a damn about us. And that's the problem. They teach you to be so docile and so trustworthy in that church while we're the ones that get run over. We're the ones that get, you know what I mean, bamboozled. We're the ones that are lied to, that are told this lie about peace and prosperity with all different nations, when these nations can't stand us, and our God told us not to trust them. Said, never trust thy enemy. Read.
Oh, God. For like as iron rusteth. Meaning iron will eventually rust over time.
Read.
So is his wickedness.
So is his wickedness. Meaning this. Ooh-wee. Meaning so is his wickedness. The oppressor is wicked by nature. He can't help it. Like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. He's naughty by nature. Right. Wicked by nature. Evil by nature. He can't help it. Right. He cannot help it. And you think you can get along with him. You think that you can live in peace with him. No, you cannot. That's why our God told us to separate from them. Give me that, Ibad, in Leviticus 20 and verse 26. Okay. Because separation is key. Like we think we're going to get somewhere by joining arm in arm with this oppressor. We're not. We're not going to get nowhere with him. We can get nowhere, shalom, our Lord in Christ. And that's what we have to understand. Our God told us that separation was everything, because he did not choose everybody. Oh, and this is what I don't understand, Nathaniel. You ask a Christian, you know what I mean? They talk about, well, you know, he's our father, he's our God. Yeah, Christ was right. He is our father. But did he say he was everybody's father? Or did Christ say he was our father? Lord Christ, Nicole. Let me get Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 26.
Leviticus chapter 20, verse 26. And ye shall be holy unto me.
Our God said, you shall be holy unto me. Meaning this, we're supposed to be holy. Holy is not what you think it is. Holy ain't your mama, your auntie that's holy and sanctified. No. You know, y'all know your mothers and aunties. I know my mother sure do. They be in church, I buy with them crazy looking feathered hats on. You know what I mean? Thinking they holy. That ain't holy. Holy, when you look it up, means to be separate, set apart. Right. Your pastor ain't holy neither. I was looking at something on TikTok earlier, man, and your boy in the car was on there tripping. Your boy was on there talking about, you know, you out here trying to deceive the people. You out here trying to talk about the people about Christ. Geno Jennings. Tell you something. That nigga is crazy. And there's a reason why he don't want that at the UPK, why he don't want to debate Captain Zaria, because he'll get exposed. He comes across rational and radical to other soft-ass Christians. But to us, you know what I mean? He ain't no different than Creflo Dollar. He ain't no different than T.D. Snakes, Salakia, T.D. Jakes. He ain't no different than them. He ain't no different than Jesse Jackson and Martin Luther King. He loved the oppressor too. And more importantly, he loves the money he gets, you know what I mean, by making money off of our people, by sending that collection plate around, talking about the compound and all this other nonsense. The nigga from North Philly talking like he from Chattanooga, Mathumya. Goes to show you. And all of that is a persona. All of that is that Southern, you know what I mean? I think Southern poverty, you know what I mean? That Southern Baptist, Southern poverty, where they all talk like that and they try to engage with the people and try to make it seem like that they're this majestical priest and prophet, and they call them apostles. They're not. They've been deceiving our people for far too long. They don't want to teach our people that our God said that Black, Latino, and First Nation man and woman are the Jews of antiquity, and our God told us to separate. Go ahead, Nicole.
Right, so I just wonder, like, what their thoughts are. Them and IUIC, they are one. I don't know what their thoughts are about the Alabama brawl, because they supposed to be these so-called holy and saved people, I wonder how they feel about that.
I can tell you what IUIC felt about it. You should already know that. Rebellion. Rebellion. The ship captain shouldn't have resisted the white man power. They hate black. And that's another thing too, man. Our people don't understand. They look at us like, oh, you just always dogging them and talking about them. No, we're trying to warn you, Black, Latino, and First Nation, man. Those men hate our people. They hate our people. How the hell can you go out here and teach that we're the Jews of antiquity, that we are the true ethnic, biblical Hebrew Israelites, and then you go out there and say that Trayvon Martin should have, not resisted George Zimmerman? To go out there to Buffalo, New York, when our people are mourning because the oppressor came out there and murdered us in cold blood, and you out there, telling our people that it's our fault? You hate Blacks and Latinos. This is the one that got me in the car. Talk about we don't give food out. We don't have soup kitchens. We don't give food out to Israel, but you go to Africa and feed Hamites. That tells you where your allegiance is. You don't want to give food away in Philadelphia, New York, or anywhere in the U.S. where our brothers just as needed. You don't want to give food away in Trinidad and Tobago and Puerto Rico and in South America, but you want to go to Africa and help them Africans? They're not an Israelite group, man. They're a Hamitic organization.
Right.
And I ain't even so sure if some of them is even Israelites. Salakia. You know what I mean? Some of that wickedness is a little too much for me, Nicole. It's rough. One of them niggas, that one wicked bastard, Kanad, niggas called the pocket. Goes to show you, man. And they're no different from your Christian pastors. They're no different from your Muslim mosques. Our God told us that we had to be separate, that we had to separate. I was watching another video. Big shout out to Priest and Officer of 5,000, Thabawan, Priest and Officer of 1,000. Karatazar out there in California, where this Muslim was coming up, and what the topic came up was. He was talking about the hadiths, and Thabawan and Karatazar did not let him get away from Muhammad molesting that 6-year-old girl Aisha. They can't get around that. That's why our God said to separate. Alawat Panya. Barak. Yahweh Shem Yahshua.
Tap it up. Get it on out there. Most High in Christ. I'm ready to rock. I'm ready to answer your questions on any topic that you have. Also, I'll give you the Israelite School of UPK's official breakdown on the wildfire that's happening or happened, I believe, in Hawaii, if I'm not incorrect. All right? Everybody gets it? First, let me tell you this right here. Pasati, mi gente. Mi nombre es General Mahayaman. Soy tu hermano. Estos son los anuncios. Somos la escuela israelita de conocimiento práctico universal. Comenzamos en 1 Oeste Calle 125, Harlem, Nueva York. Desde 1969, debajo el comando de el General Yahana. Carnales, esta es la verdad. Si tú eres latino, negro o indio nativo, tú eres Israel. I'm fine, warrior. El pueblo elegido, Dios. Tu madre y tu padre dicen que somos un culto y mantienen su iglesia sin culpa. With that, I'll answer any questions that you might have in the chat rooms or in the physical room we're in right now, all right? Yediah? Need a minute?
You got one question.
For what? I appreciate that.
So like you said, brother, officer, your partner's out of Buffalo or Syracuse. It's like, sir, can I get a breakdown on 2nd Maccabees 12 and 43 Buffalo Strong?
No problem. Someone read it for the officer, please.
2nd Maccabees 12 and 43.
This camera high enough right here, Rock? Seems like you need to go down a little, go up a little taste.
I'm sure you can look at it. I think it's
You can call it out. It's just I'm just judging about the. I think it's fine.
okay. Come on. 12 and 43.
Book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 12, verse 43.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had made a gathering throughout the company to the sum of 2,000 drachms of silver, he sent it to Jerusalem to offer a sin offering.
I better read where we are. Right, where are we?
Book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 12, verse 43.
2nd Maccabee. Bear with me. I'm sorry. 2nd Maccabee. Oh shit! I'm sorry. Where again? 2nd Maccabees what?
Chapter 12, verse 43.
12 and 43. Let me just catch up with you a taste, all right? Also, I'll answer any questions that anyone has online. Just type them right into the chat room, and we'll get them rocking and rolling, all right? You said 43, right? Okay, go ahead. Start from the top. If the brother has a specific question about this precept, he should let me know, all right? Go ahead.
And when he had made a gathering throughout the company to the sum of 2,000 drachms of silver, he sent it to Jerusalem to offer a sin offering, doing therein very well and honestly, in that he was mindful of the resurrection. That's it, sir.
I might need a little more context about what his question is about. All right, let me skip above it to see who sent this to Jerusalem. Bear with me. The Mac, I believe this might be, you might have to read it above it for time's sake. I believe it's the family, the Maccabean family, all right, that sent it to Jerusalem. Shalom, sis. The being mindful of the resurrection, of course, is them being mindful of reincarnation. And that they've always known about reincarnation, which is why the woman and her 7 sons said in their speech to the wicked Greek king that sought to kill them, that thou takest our lives, but we shall receive them again. Thou takest our hands and our tongues, but we shall receive them again. They had great courage because of their knowledge of reincarnation. They knew that this life was not their last. And so if that's his question, yes, this is a reincarnation precept. All right. Next. Get the video together I sent you today about Hawaii. As everyone knows, I would hope everyone knows about the forest fire. Was it in Hawaii? Yeah, the forest fire that happened in Hawaii. Oh, Lord, the Most High came through Hawaii, brother. He came through there with great power. Get a Most High hand. Came through there with great power and destruction. And for those of you out there watching and who don't understand that the Israelite School of ISUPK has prayed for so many years under commanding General Yohana, and the men who passed this school to his capable charge have always prayed for the prophecies to come to pass. The prophecies of war and destruction and death and famine, because we know that until the rest of this world hurts, no one will care about our pain. No one will care. This world could be a paradise for everyone. And as long as we're dying and they're not, then no one would ever care. No one would ever care about the suffering of the ghetto, the suffering of the barrio, the suffering of the reservation. But the Most High God shows through his prophecies that the end of our hell is near. And all of these things you read about in the Bible, you're going to see them happening on the news. This month was the hottest month in the history of the planet. That's what our oppressor has said. And there are natural disasters happening that people could not imagine a few years ago. Why are these things happening? Because Jesus Christ is on his return. Christ is coming back. And when you see what happened down there in Hawaii, you should not only think about the Hawaiians and what they must have felt like. That the news set up that the windstorm was so terrible with fire that the fire was traveling 1 mile per minute. 1 mile per minute. And they could not get away from it. And they ran as hard as they could and then drowned in the ocean trying to get away from the fire. That's a terrible death, especially when you're in a place where you believe nothing bad can happen to you. When you believe you're in paradise. Oprah Winfrey last month, well, I think about 3 months ago, she spent $6 million on 850 acres of land in Hawaii. 6 months ago. I'll take it upstairs to Water Warrior. That's it. She went down there after the firestorm. She went down there trying to offer blankets and aid and food and help. The people of Hawaii rejected her. They refused to take the help of Oprah Winfrey. They would not take her blankets. They would not take her money. Because now the people of Hawaii are realizing that they're going to have to depend on themselves. Right. That they cannot trust all of the rich people that come over to Hawaii to have pleasure vacations and meanwhile leave them to die when the fire starts. This also another thing. This week, Hawaii, play the video if you don't mind. Hawaii has the most sophisticated warning system on the planet. Because why? Because of the volcanoes and one other thing. It's a storm. Tsunamis. I think there's another way, but tsunami might be perfect. Because of tsunamis and volcanoes, they have the most sophisticated warning system on the planet. And the thing did not go off. They got no warning at all. All they saw was fire running at them a mile a minute. Now, those of you that have ever ran a mile, you can imagine how fast that is. 1 mile a minute. That fire was running at them, chasing them into the Pacific. Come on.
If I could, sir, from my knowledge of what happened on the island what happened in Hawaii, usually it's volcano eruption. Mm-hmm. Usually they try not to live near the eruption site. Mm-hmm. But what happens is if it does erupt, they gotta
you having a problem second. You having a problem up here?
A mile a minute. Mm-hmm. They used to be able to just get in the cars and drop off quickly. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Not really as being panicked, but now, like you said with the fire, that thing is something very used to that.
Listen, and it has to be a lesson to all of us. I know you watch the news about what's happening in Hawaii, and you can feel sorry for the people of Japheth. They're not Israelites. They're not the chosen people of God. But they're also not a nation of people that have been especially cruel to us, especially when you think about how we've been treated by our oppressor and his allies. Right. But they're not our brothers and sisters. And you could feel sorry for them because of the tragedy that they happened. And you can absolutely empathize with them because you would put yourself in their shoes and you can imagine what it must have been like running from the fire into the ocean. But here's what is most profitable for you. Instead of feeling sorry for Hawaii, you should know that you're next. You're next. Hawaii, let me show you something that happened in Hawaii 5 years ago. This is in the exact same state that the firestorm was in. When the brother gets it up on the screen, we'll play it, all right? In the exact same state, they had a terrible scare because their sophisticated warning system said there is a nuclear attack has been launched at Hawaii. Now, remember, Hawaii is right there, close to some allies, close to North Korea, or closer to North Korea than America is. And because of that, they're very worried about nuclear attacks. So their early warning system said that there has been a nuclear attack on Hawaii. Get to shelter, get underground, you're about to die. Brother, they have the video of them scrambling. Some of you, if you can find it on your phone, you might even be able to see where they were sending text messages to their family members, telling their family members that they are about to die. Oh my God, I'm about to die. And the people had minutes to escape. Minutes. They thought that the missiles were launched and they would be here in minutes because that's what the early warning system said. Everyone understands. Brother, you're going to see videos of people lowering their children into sewers, crying. And the babies saying, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to go down there. But for the love of their children, family members and fathers are lowering their children into sewers, hoping they'll be safe from the nuclear blast in the sewer. The one that is so eloquent to me is the one woman just starts to run, and then she realizes she can't get anywhere fast enough. And she stops in the middle of the street and just starts to pray like this. She stops. If the brother has are we ready?
Load the video up.
Okay. She's on the video right here, brother. And it is so poetic because this woman knew that she could do nothing. It was nowhere to run. There was no time to run anywhere. And where are you going to run to get away from a nuclear missile? And she just stopped and started praying to her God. And then minutes later, it came over their phones, and this has all been a big mistake. That happened 5 years ago, brother. And I'm sure at the time, all of them said, woof, we're in the clear. That could have been bad. But I would hope that they were not fool enough to think that their lives were guaranteed to them. That's what fools do. Right. Fools think, you need me? Oh, go ahead, play it. Make sure everyone in line can see the big screen of it, all right? Go ahead. Seems like you need some more time, all right? Let me keep going. No sweat. We need to get off our phones or something?
No.
Okay. So once again, we'll just play the video for you when the video comes up. Let me read a couple real fast. Look at this here. I'm gonna send this one. I'll read this one to you right here, right? It's okay, slightly. Go ahead. I'm gonna have to move on. All right? Can't do it. See that's fine with the sound. That's him lowering his daughter into the sewer. And I want you to pause it when they show the woman praying. And the little girl is saying, "No, I don't want to go down there." And he's pushing her. Look at this woman right there. Stop. Pause. I'm sorry. A little more. Let me just see her. If you can freeze the screen on her right there. Right there. You see it? Can y'all see though? It went dark for me. It went dark. She just stopped. Right there. She just stopped, brother, and just started praying because she had no time. She was going to die. And all she could trust in is her God to get her out of this. Let me read one or two of the text messages that they sent. These are from people's phones after the event was over. This one says, we are under an immediate missile threat. We are seeking shelter in the basement of the hospital. I'm really scared. I love you, and I'll keep you updated the best I can. 4 minutes left. They launched it. Please pray we get inside in time. We're in a shelter. I'm shaking. Pray for Haley. That's what someone wrote about their little daughter. They were terrified. They thought they were going to die. And then they were saved. It was a false alarm. And they thought that their lives were guaranteed. Hubris is a terrible thing to have. Hubris is like to be overly confident in something that you should not be confident in. And if this world could live in fear of God's judgment every day, it would change everything about life. Everything would be different. The problem with this world is people think that their lives are guaranteed. People think that the Most High God will not judge them. They think that because of the hypocrisy of the Christian church. The Christian church teaches you to not be afraid of the Lord. And because you have no fear of the Lord, you have no warning when death comes. I'll give you something that's better than feeling sorry for Hawaii. Prepare for the day when it's your turn. What do you want to do in that day? Let me give you a precept. Give me the book of Proverbs, the 14th chapter. Give me Proverbs 14. Stand by. Give me Proverbs 14 and 27. We'll read a few precepts right there. You can just keep playing that if you want. It should. All I need is the beginning half. All the people running. Whenever whoever's going to read it, let me know. All right. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. This is the book of Proverbs. This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 27, sir.
Mm-hmm.
The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life.
The Bible says the fear of the Lord is a fountain of life. Think like a fountain that, has water. And because you have this water, you're not going to die. You're going to have your thirst quenched and you'll live because you have this fountain of life. That's what the fear of the Most High God is. Don't believe the Christians when they tell you that everything is going to be okay, that nothing bad will happen to you, that you're going to hit the lottery every day. You're going to leave your husband and find someone better. You're going to leave your boyfriend and find someone better than your boyfriend. Your Christians love to feed your hubris, to feed your self-confidence, to feed your belief in this unconditional love from this God that is not the God of the Bible. But the God of the Bible is the one that destroyed these people in Hawaii. That's the God of the Bible. And they thought 5 years ago, when their lives were saved from this imaginary nuclear missile attack, they thought they were safe and they were not. Instead of feeling sorry for them, think about what you'll do when your turn comes, because it's coming. It came to New Orleans back with Hurricane Katrina. And do you understand that natural disasters, brother, are happening at an historical rate? This month was the hottest month in history. There has never been a month this hot. You think this is the last forest fire? Come on. You're silly. You're silly. If you think that these things aren't coming to your neighborhood, to your city, they're coming to your city. Now, do you want to be like the Hawaiians and with a flower necklace around your neck, dancing for white people, never realizing that you better get your life in your own hands? And the only way to have any surety of life is to give the Most High that life you live today. The Most High might not save a drug addict and a weed head and a pill popper and a whore and a pimp, but a promiscuous woman. Give the Most High reason to give you special care, to give you special attention. Give him a reason. Give him a life that's worth saving. Or else why should he just throw you into the Pacific? Why shouldn't he have fire chasing you out of your home? Because it is coming to your home. And the news will make you go, oh, look at what's happening in Hawaii. Oh, look at what happened in Hurricane Katrina. Oh, look at what happened over there, and look at what happened over there. People are going to say that about you because it's coming to where you live. And the only way to survive it is to fear the Most High. You must be afraid of him before it happens. You understand? You can't wait until the fire is chasing you into the ocean to now say, oh, Lord, help me. Please, Lord, please. Now it's time to pray. Now it's time to think about the Most High because the fire is chasing you 1 mile per minute. The car.
So that's why the best way to look at the Most High is like our Father.
Yeah, brother, get mad. Yeah.
Before.
See me one more time, please. Come on.
Look at him like Christ is right. Look at him like our Father.
Yeah, man.
In school, you probably acting up, whatever. At the time, you acting up. You ain't thinking about punishment that's going to come once your father hear about what you had done. So definitely, like you said, had that fear before it happens.
You have to. I'll take it to another level if you don't mind. You have to live in fear of God. You just live in it every day. Every day that you wake up, you don't wake up like, I'm waking up every day to seek happiness, which is what a lot of people do because of American and British culture, and French culture. They seek happiness or lust every day. Every day. Some of you, virtually most of you, have had your life has been about a relationship since you were 13. Just hold close now. Round about the time you got into girls and had your first girlfriends. Girls round about the time you had your first boyfriend. Your entire life has been about that. Your life has been about chasing girls or chasing boys. In a relationship, out of relationship. How can I get in a relationship? I got to get out of this relationship. Look at what happened to me based on this relationship. Everything in your life is about sex. Everything. You didn't do anything with your life. You didn't do all the things you should have did. You didn't focus on any of those things. You focused on the thing that gave you an orgasm, and you made your entire life about that. That's Christianity. That's it. Where your life is not spent in every day fearing what God might do to me if I don't serve him. You're going to have a profitable life like that, brother. Can you imagine the life you would have lived if you had a time machine? You could go back and say, well, I'm not going to devote myself to pleasure. I'm not going to just devote my whole existence to finding a man, getting a girl, finding a girl. What do girls like? What do boys like? How do boys want me to dress? What should I have to get a girl? How can I leave her and get a new girl? How can I leave him and get a new man? Your entire life was that, and think about what you did not do. Well, there's coming a time when you're going to be stuck sitting, praying like this, while the fire chases you into the ocean. And you don't want that. You want to think about this before then. You want to get up in the morning and fear the Most High, knowing that, my goodness, I'll be like the people in Hawaii. It'll happen to me. It happened in New Orleans. If you're from New Orleans, I don't have to teach this out. This taught itself in New Orleans when the water just kept coming, and then they're climbing on their roofs. On the roof. Give me some pictures of Hurricane Katrina. If you think that this is, something that happens on the other side of the world. This happened here, right here, and the water kept coming and kept coming. And then go look up something called real estate racism. Real estate racism is the practice of putting neighborhoods in areas that will be most directly affected by natural disasters. That's where Black and Latino neighborhoods are and reservations are. Your Black neighborhood is somewhere that is going to get flooded. And they make sure to put your neighborhood where it's going to get flooded, where it's going to be hotter. It's going to be sometimes 30 degrees hotter in Black and Latino neighborhoods. They cut down all the trees, and they have the streets and the sidewalks so that you're burning up, and it makes the place a ridiculous heat hazard for dying of heat exhaustion. And this is happening all over the world. And your neighborhood is just perfectly designed and positioned to be affected by a natural disaster. And you can go Google this on your own time. 1 second. Go back to the precept I asked you about.
This is the book of Proverbs, chapter 14, verse 27. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life.
Let me give you the other side. To the people that want life to be good. Damn, don't you want to have a good life, man? Listen, there's things you can do to have a good life. There's things you can do, man, to have an excellent life. The problem is it's different than the way you think it is. You think that the pursuit of happiness is pursuing happiness, is chasing it and finding it, is sucking everything and smoking everything and eating everything and having every experience. In your mind, that is how you develop happiness. Because I get high every day. Because I'm always able to get high all the time. So I'm happy, and I'm able to drink all the time, and I'm able to do this and have sex all the time. You think that running for happiness is how you get happiness, when it's totally reversed out. That's running for depression. If you're looking for depression, then you go try to be happy every day. If you're looking for real sadness, you go get up every morning and try to please yourself and try to make yourself happy every day and seek it, and you are going to be clinically depressed. That's where you find it. Come on.
So I just found out today by
Microphone.
All right. So people that are depressed and want to go to drugs such as weed, they say that weed it helps cure that. All right. So this sister that I have on Facebook, she said that she can't smoke anymore. She said, "Oh my gosh, I can't smoke THC no more. That's what's been causing my stomach pain really bad. This is crazy. The hospital told me that I had a disorder from smoking too much THC. That is something I had to deal with for the rest of my life. This is actually called cannabis hyperemesis syndrome, where pretty much you have stomach pains for the rest of your life because you thought that marijuana was going to help cure that depression."
They used to call that withdrawal syndromes back in the day. The withdrawal syndrome. When you need to smoke, let me give you the crazy circle, right? You're smoking weed because you're depressed. And when you don't get weed, you get depressed. So in essence, you'll go and try to smoke weed to cure your depression when the reason that you're depressed is because you don't have any weed. You understand? It's like a circle. And you're going to sit around like, oh man, I'm so anxious. I'm so this, I'm so nervous. What I need is some drugs to cure this anxiety, to cure this pain I have in my head. The pain you're feeling is you needing a fix. The pain is the addiction. If you stepped into the pain, if you embraced it, if you embraced the pain of going without it, if you didn't run from it, if you didn't hide from it, but you walk straight into the pain that addiction causes, then that pain ends. That is what I'm hoping to teach you today. Or else one day you'll be in a city going, please God, make the water leave me, make the fire miss me, make the gunshots avoid me. You're going to seek the Most High at the last minute. And for most of you, it's too late then. This is something you have to do today. This is something you have to do every day. What do you have here? Give me some of the people. That's the place underwater. People on the roofs, people on the roof of their houses, people running. Go ahead. Keep reading the precept.
To depart from the snares of death.
To do what?
Depart from the snares of death.
Read it from the top.
The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life. To depart from the snares of death.
That's what happens, man. Fearing the Most High is how you live. You see how that works? Not caring about God and thinking God is going to protect me. And God has me. God knows my heart. Nothing can happen to me. This is going to be a breeze. Everything is okay. That's how you die. That's how the graveyards are filled up to the packed to capacity. That's what happened in Katrina right there. I remember that day. They was out there. They were playing outside. Can you imagine how tall that water is? Do you even understand? Like that, you understand? That's the roof above their door. So just imagine this door you came in today. And imagine the water going up there to the top of that door. That's it. That's what happened in minutes. Minutes in Hurricane Katrina. You think that's finished? It's just getting started. Natural disasters are going to increase. Forest fires. It's in the book of Jeremiah, brother. It's going to happen. Keep reading. You got more? I'll take more. Go ahead.
Verse 28. And the multitude of the people is the king's honor.
I think that's it. Throughout. Everybody understands. Those are your precepts. So when you go out in the street, you take all of your fear of the Most High scriptures, and you make people understand that it's coming to them so that they can take the measures that must be taken to save the lives of them and the people they love. What measure must be taken? You have to fear the Most High God every day. Be more afraid of him than you want to get high, and you need a cigarette. A cigarette rules your entire life. You can't travel. You can't get on a goddamn plane because you need to smoke. You can't do anything in life at all because of your lust. Well, that is why you're going to die. All of the praying and singing and praise dancing will not save you. Right. Instead of feeling sorry for the people in Hawaii, you should take measures because your time is coming. You're next. All right? Everybody understands. This is them again up on the damn roof, begging for the helicopters to come save them. All right, next. Any questions on the line? Go ahead.
But to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness.
Solid. Give me 2 verses above it, all right?
Romans chapter 4, verse 1. What shall we say then? That Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, had found.
What should we say then as Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh? What is that telling you about Abraham? It's real simple. It's right there in front of you. As Abraham our father, as pertaining to the flesh, hath found. How is Abraham our father? Come on. Through sex, through flesh. Meaning what? This precept is not talking to our oppressor or any other people on the planet. Because Abraham is our father as pertaining to the flesh. Just like your physical father in your home or the one that you know of, right? He's not your spiritual father. He's not the Father God. He's not your father because he teaches you and guides you. He's your father because he had sex with your mother. Well, Abraham is our father as pertaining, meaning concerning the flesh. He's our actual father. Now you need that because if you're an oppressor reading this, this is not talking to you. This is not about you. This has nothing to do with anyone who is not Abraham's father as pertaining to the flesh. Does everyone understand? Keep going.
Well, if Abraham were justified by works, he had whereof to glory, but not before God.
If Abraham was justified by works, he would have whereof, or he would have reason to glory, but not before God. I'm going to ask you what that means in 1 second. After you don't get it, I'm going to tell you what it means. Read it one more time and then keep going.
Verse 3. It's like verse 2. For if Abraham were justified by works, he had whereof to glory, but not before God.
Keep going.
Verse 3. For what saith the scripture? Abraham believed God, and it was counted unto him for righteousness.
Boom. Who wants to break it down? For if Abraham was justified by works, he would have whereof to glory. That's all I need for now. The car. Wait, I want you to first translate it into today's English. If Abraham was justified by God, he would have whereof to glory. What does that mean? Just first, which is if you want to, it's a tool that Commanding General Yana taught me years ago. First, translate it into my language, right? Into what it means in my language. Go ahead. Who wants to give it a shot? If not, I'll give it to you. You're dying.
If Abraham was justified by the things he did, he would have reason to glorify himself.
give him a hand. That's it. If Abraham could be made righteous, meaning if you could say, Abraham, you got it. You did the right thing. That's what justified means. Alexa, what does justified mean?
Justified is a form of the verb justify, which is usually defined as to show, an act, claim, statement, etc., to be just or right.
That's
For
it.
more,
Alexa, stop. If Abraham could be justified, meaning if the Most High could say, you're right, Abraham, if that was based on works, meaning actions, he would have reason to glorify, but he would never glorify himself before God. Does everybody understand? Meaning Abraham did what the Most High told him to do. He did it. His actions were just. What are we speaking about in particular right now? You die. Abraham, which is one of the most famous things that he's known for, the Most High God told him to sacrifice his son Isaac. Told him to take him to a mountain and kill him on an altar and unalive him on an altar. Abraham said, "Come out of one canal," took his servant with him and lied to the servant and said, "Yeah, we're gonna kill a lamb. We're gonna unalive a lamb up there. The lamb is waiting for us up there at the top of the mountain." That was not true. He was going to unalive his own son at the top of that mountain because the Most High told him to do it. Remember that phrase. Abraham took his son to the mountain, tied him up, and put him on the table. His baby son said, "Daddy, where's the lamb at?" "Oh, don't worry about that, young brother." He laid him down on the thing, tied him up. At that moment, the Most High stopped him and then showed him a lamb tied to a bush and said, "You're going to sacrifice that lamb." Because the Most High was doing something that he does every day, all day. He was testing him. And that is what life is, brothers. Test. One test after another, one battle after another, one opportunity to prove your value or to prove that you are not valuable. Every day. Every day it's going to happen. Abraham woke up that day, brother, and that was his test, and he went and did it. And then the Most High God, as usual, gave him a lamb to kill, and he did not kill it. He did not unalive his son because that's unlawful, and he did not do it. And then that was that, and it was great, and boom, Abraham became the father of the patriarchy. He became one of the three men that we all right now today lean on for the reason that we are the chosen people of God, and we have the covenant of God today. He did it. So, if works could make him right, he would have reason to glory himself, but not before God, because Abraham would never glorify himself before God. He wouldn't do that. He wouldn't puff up himself in the sight of the Most High. That's not something he would do. Why? Because he was justified. He was a righteous man. He doesn't have what? You die? But take me home. Show me that I'm not wasting my time today. He doesn't have hubris. We went over that earlier. Hubris. He's not like the people like Oprah. He's not like the Christians that think, nothing can happen to him. He is righteous. He did it. He went to sacrifice his own son. So he could glorify himself, but not before God. He wouldn't do that in front of the Most High. He would never do that. He doesn't have hubris. He doesn't have extreme pride, extreme arrogance. That's not him. Everyone understands, right? That's what you need first. Come on.
Sir, hubris is spelled with an H or a U?
I can't. I do not know. You can look it up, or I could ask Alexa anything you need. All right. Let's go ahead.
Come. For what saith the scripture? Abraham believed God.
Here we go. Go ahead. Abraham believed God. Go ahead.
Come. And was counted unto him for righteousness.
And his belief was counted unto him for righteousness. Why is this important? Because Abraham predates Moses. You understand? And so at this time, people counted righteousness by whether or not you kept the law of Moses your entire life. So if you ate pork before, you were not righteous. You had to die. You couldn't be accepted in the congregation of Israelites. If you did not celebrate the Passover every year, you could not be accepted in a congregation of Israelites. If you worship Diana or worship some Greek or false god, an Israelite would never accept you. If you were not from Israel, not from Jerusalem, if you lived in a land that was run by heathens, no one accepted you because they knew you were over there eating what those heathens ate, living how they live. And people in Jerusalem would never accept you. That's what you need to understand this precept. Paul is going to those people who are not accepted by the people in Israel, by the people in Jerusalem. He's going to them to convert them back into the law of their forefather Moses according to the flesh. They're now going to go and do what Abraham did. Why? Because Abraham is their father according to the flesh. Come on.
I have a precept too.
Please.
About Abraham.
Go ahead.
Genesis chapter 26 and verse 5. Because that Abraham obeyed my voice and kept my charge, my commandments, my statutes, and my laws.
That's a precept. So Abraham is the man. He obeyed the Most High. He was righteous. He did what he was supposed to do. He could glorify himself, but he would never do that before the Lord thy God. That's what you need first. Keep going.
Because Abraham believed God and was counted unto him for righteousness. Verse 4. Now to him that worketh is the reward.
Now to him that worketh is the reward. Who is him that worketh? Who are we referring to? Abraham. Abraham is him that worketh. He gets the reward. That's what the situation proves to you with Abraham. If you do what the Most High tells you to do, you'll get a reward, just like Abraham. Continue.
Not reckoned of grace.
Not what?
Reckoned of grace.
Not reckoned of grace. What is grace? Who knows? The car.
It's like a time period of mercy.
Like grace period. Grace is a time of forgiveness. That's what grace is. When you get a pass for what you've done back then. That's why every sister that changes her life and comes into the UPK is a what? Who knows, sister? We say it all the time. Anyone know? I'll give you a shot. A virgin. You come into the truth and you marry a brother in this school, you have never had sex before. You've been with him and him only your entire life. It is something that we fervently believe and practice. Why? Because you are forgiven for what you've done in the past. You're given grace for those things. Everybody understands. You're a brother that you come into the truth and you might have killed someone or unalived someone or did terrible things or did prison time or whatever. You've never unalived anyone. It never happened. Everybody gets it. It didn't happen. Who shot you? I don't know who shot him. I don't even know he got shot. Who are we even talking about? Whoever unalived him, who knows? That didn't happen. That never happened because that wasn't you. Everybody gets it? That's something that we fervently practice and believe in now because it's in the Bible. Those crimes that you might have committed in the past, that was during your time of grace. You're being forgiven for that. Everybody gets it. So if you never unalive anybody, if you never go out and have sex with someone you shouldn't, right, then you don't need to have grace because you've never done anything wrong. You're just righteous because you've never done anything wrong. And that's fine. You'd be like Abraham. Abraham didn't do it. He did the right thing. And so he's righteous, right? But it's not because of grace, right? You get my point? It's not because of grace. Our righteousness is because of grace. Why? Because we have done those wrong things, but now we've decided to pass our test. Now we've decided, now we're going to do what Abraham did. Now, even though we've broken the law of Moses, we can still be justified. We can still be righteous. All we have to do is obey God right now, just like Abraham. Even though we've broken the law, every law that Moses gave us to keep, we broke every last one of them. So now here we stand, only justified by grace, but not justified by works. because we sold drugs and we had illicit sex and we did this and we celebrated Christmas and Halloween and we ate pork and shrimp and crab. We did all of those things that are prohibited, that are forbidden. We can't do them. We've done them. So we can't be like Abraham in that aspect because we have not obeyed God. But we can have grace and start obeying him now, just like Abraham did. We can begin. We can pass our tests. Keep going.
Sir. Now to him that worketh is the reward, not reckoned of grace, but of debt.
But of what?
Debt.
But of debt, meaning I did what the Most High told me to do. I owed him that. The Most High told me to do it. I did it. Read it one more time.
Now to him that worketh is the reward, not reckoned of grace, but of debt.
Meaning what? If you never have broken any commandments, then your righteousness is not based on grace, but it's based on you paying the debt that you owe to the Most High. Right. The Most High, you owe him your allegiance, you owe him your obedience, and you paid that debt. But it's not based on grace. See, our righteousness is something completely different because we are reformed sinners. We're saints, which is what a saint is in the Bible. A saint is a reformed Israelite, someone who was born of the same flesh as Abraham, same seed as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but have kept none of their traditions and none of their laws, have not done anything that we were supposed to do according to our bloodline. And we decided to change and behave like Abraham. We decided to reform ourselves. So our righteousness is based on grace, not on the debt that every person owes the Most High to obey him. Does everyone get it? Keep going.
Romans chapter 4, verse 5. But to him that worketh not.
But to him what?
But to him that worketh not.
Who are him that worketh not? You and I. Because we've broken the law. We have not kept the law. And just so you can get it, it's hard to understand because you go to church. The law is not something that you are forgiven for. That's not how it works. The law is just like the law of the land. You can unalive someone back in 1985. And if they find out you did it today, they don't say, well, you changed your life, brother. Just, don't worry about that. That's not how the law works. If you unalive someone in 1985 and they find out about it, the water, you're going to jail for the rest of your life. No one will care that you found God or you Jesus. That's not how it works, Alec. You go to jail. You go to jail as if they caught you in 1985. And you just get 20 years from the time they caught you. That is how the law of Moses is. The law of Moses doesn't say, well, he ate some pork and ate some shrimp, but he doesn't want to do it anymore. They don't give a damn about that. You die for that. You're unalived for doing that. Everybody gets it. So in your mind, I think you think that the Most High God is like, he put that in the past. He doesn't put that in the past. The law says that you have to hurt, and you're going to hurt for it. So now, knowing that you have done it, knowing that it is, you cannot say that I'm righteous because of my deeds. You can't say that if you've ever eaten bacon before. You can't say that if you've ever had a Christmas tree in your house. You can't say that if you've been to church. You can't ever say, well, I'm righteous, because you are not, because you committed crimes that you're supposed to pay for. Is that the type of world you want where no one pays for what they've done? Well, you think the Most High God is any different? You've committed crimes and did horrible things. You're supposed to pay for it. You're supposed to go to jail if you unalive someone back in the day. If you're a woman that has been promiscuous, no one is supposed to marry you and treat you like a queen. What in the hell is that concept that people get? That is from the church. It's from the church. You got 3 baby daddies. You're a promiscuous woman. And yet you're supposed to get a new boyfriend and start over. And he acts like, the kids are his, even though they're not. That's some, the kids are his. You never were a promiscuous woman. And somehow you think that that's real. It's not real. You were a promiscuous woman. You're supposed to pay for it. Now, if you don't want to pay for it, then you're going to have to live your life for someone else, because you're supposed to pay for what you've done. You don't get a free pass in the Bible. Now, if you don't want to pay for it, if you don't want to go to jail, if you don't want to be treated like a promiscuous woman, then you're going to have to lose something up. You have to lose something. You'll have to pay one way or the other. If you're not going to pay with your life, then you'll have to pay with your life. Who can understand what I just said? No one. If you don't want to pay, sister, come on. Give her a hand. For what? That was encouraging that you understood that. Yes. I don't want to go to jail for 30 years. So I have to give the Most High 30 years. You understand? I have to give it to him. I have to do what he tells me to do. If you don't want to be treated like a slut, like a promiscuous woman, then you're going to have to give him your life so that you don't have to pay for what you've done. It's a fair trade. It's better than doing this on the side of some street, running up a hill, running from fire or running from water or running from gun violence or running from the COVID-19 virus or running from AIDS. It's better than that. Continue.
Colonel McCann, sir. Colonel McCann. His faith is like, but to him that worketh not, but believeth on him that justifieth the ungodly.
Boom. That's what you need to cut Christians, young man. Read that part again and listen carefully. This is how you break through the lie about this precept. First of all, what's the lie about this precept? The lie is you serve God by not keeping the commandments. That's what every Christian believes when they hear, but to him that worketh not. They think that means I serve God by not doing what God tells me to do. And of course, there is 1,000 precepts that should be in your law breakdown that tells you that's ridiculous and a lie. And even the Christian in front of you doesn't believe that, because then that would mean to prove Jesus's grace and his love, you would have to molest their children, because there's laws against that. You would have to abuse their children so that grace could abound, so that we could be under grace. You would have to unalive his wife and unalive his kids, because the law says thou shalt not unalive. So Christians believe that by breaking the law, you somehow serve God. But then, of course, the minute that you break into their car, they call the cops on you. I never understood that. I'm stealing your car. Right? I'm stealing this car. This is a nice car and I'm stealing it. Why? Because I'm under grace. So I'm stealing your car. Come on.
Sorry, sir. Anytime I ask a Christian what law they can't keep.
Can I pause you for 1 second? Can you give me the videos of the people in, I think, Chicago raiding them stores, those young brothers in those masks, getting everything out those stores. These young brothers are under grace. You want to see some grace? I'm going to show you grace right now tonight. I'm going to show you some men under the grace of Hashkala Baba. Under grace. Under grace in the jewelry store, in the Gucci store, under grace. I'll show you that. All right? Come on, please.
Anytime I anytime I ask a Christian what law can't they keep, because they say you want to keep the laws. I say, which law you can't keep? They never give you an answer. Like, they just generalize, say all of them.
Right. Which one are they talking about? They're talking about one. Which one are they talking about? You know. Warrior right here. Give them, say again. Christians pay tithes. So which law, whenever a Christian says, I can't keep the law, they're only talking about one law. Come on. Well, they do that, absolutely, but they're not talking about that law. This is how sad this battle is with Christians throughout the years. Because if you battle a Christian that says you can't keep the law, he is not saying that you should hit him in the head with a rock and steal his wallet right then. He's not saying that you should sexually assault women. He's not saying that you should steal. He is talking about one thing, but They can't say it. But this is what's in his mind as he's saying, you can't. Oh, he's thinking of something, but most of them can't tell you what they're thinking of. They're only thinking of one law. Who knows? You know?
That's like eating pork.
Eating pork. That's it. When a Christian says the law is done away with, you don't keep the law. Oh, so we can murder. So we can unalive? No, I ain't saying that. So we can sexually assault women? I ain't saying that. So we can kidnap children? No, I ain't saying that. So we can steal? I ain't saying that. So we can, what law are we talking about? I ain't going to tell you. Because that Christian knows this is all about bacon and nothing else. Because that is how lustful they are. If you say, if a Christian says the dietary law is done away with, ask him, so then is it right for Chinese people to serve you cat and dog instead of chicken and General Tso's chicken? What will he say? He will say, no, I can't eat any rat. I can't eat no dog and cat. He will say that's wrong. Why can't you eat dog and cat if the dietary law is done away with? Because when he says the dietary law is done away with, he is just talking about his right to eat bacon, and that's it. He is not even thinking about it with that such depth. Do you understand? You're thinking about it with depth, like, damn, the law is done away with. That means I could unalive you. I could unalive your children, your wife. I could sexually assault your wife. I could steal your car right now. I could hit you in the head and steal your wallet. He is not thinking about it that deeply. He just wants bacon. He just wants to put bacon on a hamburger, bacon on a hot dog, bacon in the macaroni and cheese, bacon on every stupid thing that doesn't need bacon. That's all he wants to do. Do you understand? That's Christians are, because they wake up every day chasing happiness. Just trying to eat something that is delicious. And the thing that's delicious to them. They're not trying to fight for cats to be eaten or rats to be eaten. No. They're against that. They hate the fact that Chinese people might be giving them cats. They don't like that. They just want bacon because they're a simple and ignorant folk. Everyone understands. So lucky. What am I missing here? Am I missing something? Who is reading? You need me? Please, go ahead. Oh, this is, what was that? What was it called? The question. Did I break down this whole thing that brother asked about? Go ahead. Read the last. Any more questions?
I believe so.
All right, let me get the question. You get the point out. You need the precepts on it where shall we sin that grace may abide? That last part right there. Read that last part you just read quickly.
But believing on him that justifieth the ungodly, his faith is counted for righteousness.
That justifieth the ungodly. We are the ungodly. Our faith is counted for righteousness. What is faith? Works. You take him straight to where the Bible says faith without works is dead. Show me your faith without works. I will show you my faith with works. The ungodly, people like you and I who have celebrated Christmas, who have eaten and given up bacon, we've broken the commandments of God. So now we have to have faith. We have to do it now. We haven't done it before. We have to do it now, just like Abraham. Come on.
My question is, in the first part, let's say, like, to him that worketh not.
Mm-hmm.
That's my question. Like, to him that worketh not, what would that mean, sir?
To him that has broken the law. We have not worked the law.
Okay.
We have not done it. Working something is like doing it. We have not done it because the law doesn't have a time limit. Just like that's why I brought up the analogy of unaliving someone. We haven't worked the law because we have broken it. And now we're supposed to pay for it. So we are the ones that worketh it not because we have eaten bacon in the past. Do you understand? Go ahead.
So when it says worketh not, it's talking about
Yeah, okay. Yes, absolutely. But you want to think about it not like past tense, but like the law doesn't have a past tense. That's the point I'm trying to get you. There is no past tense with the law. There is no statute of limitations on it. You've done it, which means you have to die over it. There is no, well, that happened 20 years ago. Show me that precept. I'm waiting on it, but that's not in the Bible. It's not in the Bible that I did that 10 years ago. I did that 5 years ago. We think that about God because of the church. But if you, give me Deuteronomy 13, fast as you can possibly get it, because I don't have time. Give me whosoever doeth this and have not celebrated in their season. I think it's Deuteronomy 13. Deuteronomy 13, where it says, you know what I'm talking about. When you get it, let me know. Entice thee to worship another God. Nice and fast.
Sir.
Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 13, and verse.
You need the microphone.
Come.
Now, this is the law. Now, just try to let go of what's in your mind about God, like he doesn't care about it because it happened 5 years ago, or happened 2 years ago, or happened 20 years ago. Go ahead.
Deuteronomy, chapter 13, verse 6. If thy brother, the son of thy mother.
Someone else give me the Passover. If thou shalt not observe the Passover in its proper time, it's some word like that. Keep going.
Or thy daughter. Or
if thy what? Say it again.
If thy brother, the son of thy mother, or thy son, or thy daughter, or the wife of thy bosom, or thy friend, which is of thine own soul, entice thee secretly, saying, let us go and serve other gods, which thou hast not known.
So now, your mother, your brother, your family member, someone you love, they tell you, let's serve other gods who we have not known. What would that be like? Hey, can you come to my church? Hey, can you come to my mosque? Hey, can you come to my religion? That is you enticing someone to serve a God that the Israelites have not known. Go ahead.
Nor thy fathers, namely of the gods of the people which are round about you, nigh unto thee, or far off from thee, from one end of the earth, even unto the other end of the earth. Thou shalt not consent unto him, nor hearken unto him. Neither shall thy eye pity him. Neither shalt thou spare, neither shalt thou conceal him. But thou shalt surely kill him.
You have to kill the person that tried to get you to go to their church. You have to unalive them. And you got to do it first. Keep reading.
Come. Thy hand shall be first upon him. You
have to be the first one to strike him. Keep going.
Come. To put him to death.
To do what?
To put him to death.
So give me the time restriction. Give me the part that says, don't do it if it happened last year. Don't do it if it happened 20 years ago. That's not in there. Does everybody get it? If you've done this, that is what the law says has to happen to you. It's right here. Who has the Passover one? Nice and loud. Give him the microphone.
So God, this is the book of Numbers, the 9, verse 13. But the man that is clean and is not in a journey, and forbear to keep the Passover, even that same soul shall be cut off from among his people.
If you have not kept the Passover, you have to get away from every Israelite. You're not part of us anymore if you don't keep the Passover. So you just came into the truth 5 years ago, which means you have years of not keeping the Passover. And according to the law, you cannot even come in this nation anymore. You're done. That's the point. That's what Paul is dealing with. He's going to brothers and sisters who are cut off from their people. Any more?
A little bit more, sir. Because he brought not the offering of the Lord in his appointed season, that man shall bear his sin.
You're cut off forever. So now imagine saying, I want to come in the nation. I want to start celebrating the Passover now. What will the Levite priest tell you? Who wants to know? It's simple as it could be. Hey, listen, I'm ready to keep the Passover now. I'm ready to start doing it. Well, have you always done it? No, I didn't. This is my first one I ever did. Who are you talking to? They're killing you. They're unaliving you. You understand? Your mind is like, the Most High God is some joke that you don't have to do what he says for your entire life, and then you can wake up one day and decide you're going to do it. And he'll go, okay, that is not him. If not for our king and the sacrifice he made in blood, none of us could even come into this school. None of us could come into the truth because we worketh not the law. We didn't do it. We didn't keep the Passover. We entice people to come to your church or to come to your fake Israelite group or to come to your mosque, which means you have to go. But because our king gave his life for us, we are under grace. Now, the Most High can just act like the things you've done were done during a time that you're being forgiven for. And now your new life belongs to Christ. That is what this precept is about. There's 1,000 precepts backing it up. The one you need quickly is, shall we sin that grace may abound? God forbid. You cannot sin because you're under grace. What is sin? The breaking of God's commandments in 1 John, the 5th chapter. All right, I'm done with that. Next topic. Try to get some more questions in fast as we can. Can we go up? You done? Solid. Good. Let's keep going with the question. Someone else found out if we can go upstairs. Give me the next questions.
One brother said, so young brother asked, so when Christ comes back, what are we supposed to do?
When he comes back, it's too late to start doing the goddamn thing. When he comes back, you're going to die. You're supposed to melt when Christ comes back. When Christ comes back, you defecate on yourself, urinate on yourself, and let your eyes burn out of your head and your tongue out of your mouth. When Christ comes back, you get unalived. Does everybody get it? The question that you should ask is, what do I do before Christ comes back? Then that's the time to do something. And when he comes back, nothing, die, unalive. That's all. You just melt like a candle on a windowsill. That's all you're going to do when Christ returns. Now, before he comes back, what should you do? You get in class. You learn to keep the commandments of the Most High God. You learn to serve our King, Yahushua Christ, with all of the zeal of a warrior. You learn to be the righteousness that this world doesn't have. You learn to be the example that children don't have. You learn to be the leader that women have been waiting for. That's what you learn to do. You do that before Christ comes back. And then with much grace, he will forgive you for what you've done in the past. Does everyone understand? With that, pass the class over to the office.